Well, hey there, American Farmsteaders. This is Jenny with the Grimstead Family Farm.
And Donna with Hazel Bell Farm.
And we are coming to y'all from Northeast Florida as two American farmsteaders doing our best to grow our own food and share our homesteading experiences with you in hopes that you'll grow a little food of your own.
Yeah, this week we're going to talk about dual-purpose animals on the homestead.
That's right, because if we're honest here, a lot of us probably don't have a whole lot of land.
Right.
You know, not everybody has, 5 or 10 or 20 acres. Mm-hmm. And so you really want to aim to get the most out of what you have.
Right.
And dual purpose animals definitely fit that bill.
I agree.
Yep.
I agree. And you could even call some of them multi-purpose.
Multi-purpose,
or
right.
What are they, like working, I don't know what the right tri-purpose.
Right. They're workhorses.
They're working animals. Yeah. Well, all of our animals are working animals. But yes, you can get multiple uses out of them, and that's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going to start with?
Yeah. So I think the first obvious one here on the list would be chickens.
Yeah. Yeah. Also known as the gateway drug.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
The gateway livestock.
It definitely is. And so chickens, as far as it being a dual purpose animal, this probably wouldn't be just any chicken breed. However, you could honestly do it. Mm-hmm. But me personally, if I'm going to look for a dual purpose chicken, and I kind of I have two thought processes on this, is because my top choice, because if I'm going to have a chicken for meat, I want it to be a meaty chicken.
Yeah, that's my first thought. It needs to be round.
Right. It needs
plump.
It needs to be a meaty chicken. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of your heritage breed of chickens, even though some of them do grow out to be like decent amounts of chicken, they don't turn out to be what you would consider like an actual table bird. Right. And so, they're just not going to be quite as plump as what we would prefer.
What you're used to.
What we're used to. Mm-hmm. And so, if I had to pick my top choice right now, and this is a hybrid, I know it's not completely sustainable. So this would be in a perfect world where we could still order chicks from the hatchery.
Okay.
It would be the Freedom Ranger.
Yeah, I agree.
It would be the Freedom Ranger, because they grow out in a relatively quick amount of time, anywhere from 12 to 16 weeks, depending upon how far you let them go. Mm-hmm. But they will lay eggs at a younger age.
At about that same time.
Yeah, we let a batch go to about 16 weeks, and they weren't laying yet. But when we started cleaning them, we discovered all kinds of eggs.
Yeah.
So, I think that they would probably lay a ton of eggs. And if you're letting the Freedom Ranger go 16 weeks, you're going to get a big chicken.
And they're so good.
They are so good.
It's such a good flavor, fresh flavor.
Yes. They have like a kind of richer, like earthier kind of flavor than a Cornish cross. Mm-hmm. So that would be my top pick, even though they're not completely sustainable.
Right. But, could you not... I know they won't go broody. What are the chances that we would have one breed of chicken on our homestead? Pretty slim.
Pretty slim.
So you could keep some broody hens of other breeds around if you wanted to shove some of those eggs underneath them, right?
Absolutely.
Or an incubator,
Right. And you can, incubate those eggs or throw them under a broody hen. You're just not always going to get like a true Freedom Ranger.
Right.
You're going to get one of those parents that it was crossed with. And so you might end up with some really excellent chickens.
Right.
Right. Some of them might not be the meatiest.
You could land race them.
Right.
Right? land race.
Land race
ranges.
a chicken.
I like it. Okay. So what if it were not a perfect world and you're planning for the end of the world? Because we do have a big crowd there that listens. Who kind of thinks of homesteading in that capacity. And so if you were thinking that you're not going to be able to order chicks in the future, what kind of breeds would you recommend?
Well, and I haven't personally raised these, but I've heard that they're a very popular choice. We have a friend who's done these before that was real happy with them. The American breasts.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
We've done them.
You've done them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we incubated some eggs.
Yep.
They did not go broody, but yeah, that's very good chicken.
Yeah.
And lots of eggs.
Nice.
Yes, very good
Nice.
production.
Jersey Giant would have to be another one on the top of my list, just because of the sheer size of them. If I had to choose,
Yeah, big bird.
yes, yep,
Delawares are good also for a nice round juicy bird that grow out on the faster side for a layer.
Right.
Not as fast as what we're used to, but
Yeah.
fast for a layer,
right,
and make a good meat.
right. And so these heritage breeds, they won't, like I said, grow out to be like your typical table bird. But a lot of folks will take these heritage breeds and just use the male chicks as their feeder. That's your meat chicken. And then you're keeping the hens back for eggs.
Right.
Which, so the roosters will be bigger. You'll get a little bit more meat off of them. And they're a sustainable choice.
Yeah. I like it. So meat and eggs, and let's not forget
Yes.
manure,
Chicken manure.
blood
oh my
meal,
gosh.
bone stock, right?
Right.
Like you're using all the parts.
All of the parts. I mean, you can literally break a chicken down and do so many different things with it,
Right.
which actually I think we're going to try to incorporate that in the next convention.
In the workshop.
Yep,
Yeah.
in the workshops. Do like a whole chicken, like from start to finish. Like, this is how you raise it, this is how you butcher it. And these are all the different things that you can do after you butcher that chicken.
Yeah,
So,
I like that.
yeah, bring
like
it
that a
all the
lot.
way to the kitchen.
I was watching a YouTube video recently. I wish I knew who it was, but they mentioned making bone meal out
Yeah.
of their chicken bones after they use the
No,
bones for stock.
I just saw that the other
Yeah.
day. Yeah, they were like, they used it for stock and then they roasted them to soften them up more. And then they put them in the food processor and got it down to like that fine powder. And then they just went and sprinkled it around their plants.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, bone meal.
Right. That's not cheap stuff.
Right,
Like
it's not
all those
cheap.
amendments, right?
It's
So you
not
have
cheap.
it and you're keeping it out of the landfills and being environmentally conscious too.
Yeah. And then there was that time that I accidentally made blood meal and realized like, oh my gosh, I just made blood meal.
I just saved money. Yes.
Yeah, so collecting that blood from your chicken butcher day, what we usually do is we start it in a bucket of water. All the blood drains into the water because it coagulates. So you have to kind of immediately dilute it,
Right.
which this one particular day we had forgotten to put water in our buckets and we were just draining it all and we're butchering for a few hours. And by the time we went to go clean it up, it was like, oh,
A clump.
this is all dried up. Like
Yeah.
there's no remixing this with water or anything. So I let it completely dry and it did. It just like crumbled up into a powder and it was like, oh my gosh, I just made blood meal.
I'm going to feed my garden now. That's great.
Yeah. So I mean, chickens, they check all the boxes.
They really do.
They really do.
So easy to keep
so easy to keep. You
in a small space.
in a small space, and you can keep them however you want. You can be fancy, or they can just be free range.
Right. Tractor them,
Right.
coop them, free range them.
Right.
Yeah. You
The
have lots of
possibilities are
options.
endless.
Yeah. We love options.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on from chickens.
Yes. Moving on from chickens, next would definitely be a cow.
My fave.
Yes. We love cows.
We love cows. Yeah, so meat and milk, obviously, but a dual purpose that checks both of those boxes. Some breeds are going to be Dexter is the first one that comes to mind.
Dexter was my top choice on this one too, because they're excellent milkers. They're smaller in size, so if you don't have a whole lot of property, you can still fit. I mean, the general rule of thumb is 1,000 pounds of livestock per acre, whatever that livestock be.
Right? Is it 10 sheep? Is
Right.
it one small cow?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So a Dexter, you could keep a Dexter mama on an acre, and milk her, and then, and then take the calf and raise the calf up for beef.
Right. Ideally, that's how I would do it. They do give a good bit of milk, but not as much as like your true dairy breeds.
Right.
But more than a beef breed, which is why they make a good dual purpose.
Right.
But they make a real rich milk Not quite like a Jersey. I'm
Okay.
going to say, like,
Right.
I'm always going to be partial to that Jersey milk cream, but more cream than like a Holstein.
Okay.
So yeah, they do. And they're a smaller size body, so they're manageable for people
Yes.
who, you know, maybe don't have experience with large animals or have a little bit of a fear of being run over by a large animal.
Yes.
They're easier to learn on, to, you know, train to move how you want them to move.
Yeah.
So, and you take up less feed and less space and all of that. So yeah,
Yeah.
Dexters are good.
Another reason why I put them at the top of my list is that they're easy to find.
Right.
Yeah, they're easy to find. No, they're not cheap.
No.
They're not cheap. I mean, especially like a registered A2 Dexter,
Right.
you know, that's not a cheap cow.
No.
But I feel like they're pretty readily available, whereas some of the other breeds on my dual purpose cow list, I don't feel like you see them as often. Like I feel like you'd have to search around a little bit more for them. Like there was a milking shorthorn.
They're pretty readily around here.
Are they?
Yeah. I don't know if that's like in the South or Florida. They do well enough here.
Okay.
They are also expensive though, because there's the whole, like there's Homestead world where we're coming out looking at animals and that they're working animals. And then there's show world.
Right.
And milking shorthorns make for great show calves or cows in the show world. And so even on the beef side, that's where they use them.
Nice.
So they fill out easy.
Okay.
I think that maybe that's why. And then you get flashy patterns, you
Yeah.
know, in their coats, and people like the kids like that.
Yeah.
Who are showing the animals. So you could pay a lot of money for a shorthorn also
Yes.
for that reason.
Yeah.
Show money is different than working money. I'll say that for sure. But yeah, shorthorns, Devons are going to be harder to find.
Devons
for sure.
are harder. Brown Swiss, I mean, that's, you can find brown Swiss.
You can, and technically that's a dairy, but
Yes.
they are a beefy dairy.
Yes.
They come out of the Brown V, which is a beef technically, but you could use for dairy also.
Yeah.
So either of those would be a good dual purpose.
Yeah. Another one that I did not put on my list because it's not a breed, it's a mix, is mixing a Jersey Angus.
So that's what I wanted to end
Yeah.
with for sure. Like,
Yeah.
yes, Dexters would be a great and they're easier to find, but you're going to pay a lot of money. But better than that is going to be a beef dairy cross.
Yes. I mean, Jersey Angus, we've raised a couple Jersey Angus steers before, and they were so good.
The meat is excellent.
Beef is excellent out of those cows.
Yeah, the meat is good. You get the fast-paced growing of the Angus, but you get the marbling of the Jersey. And crossbreeds are just generally hardier animals. You
Yeah.
don't have as many issues with them. They hold weight easier.
Right, because at that point you can really start to, and this is something to think about if you know you're really looking for your dual purpose animals to excel, is to really focus on, you know, how you're managing them and how you're producing them, you know, selective trait breeding.
Right.
You know, you can use artificial insemination to really, you know, select those genes that you want. You know,
Right.
you want to try to highlight all those good features and breed those in, you know, and not just whatever, you know, not just any old Jersey or any old Angus.
Right, because you always run the risk of getting, like I like to do, is end up with more of a Jersey little bull or a more Angus little heifer, you know,
Right.
instead of, I would want the reverse, but, you know, you get what you get.
Right. Yeah. And that's kind of the dice that you roll on
Right.
mixing the breeds.
But if you do artificial insemination, you can get sexed semen straws.
Yes.
So like if you want to, we like to breed our Jersey mamas. If we want a heifer, it's going to be or if we want a Jersey, it's going to be a Jersey heifer.
Right.
I have zero use for a Jersey bull.
Right.
If I want beef, I like to go for a bull calf Angus something over my Jerseys, but it's harder. Success rate is harder when you do the sex semen. Like the technology involved physically beats them up a little bit before
Okay.
it gets used in the straw. So conventional is easier. So you know you could get a bull or a heifer but still raise it for beef just fine.
Right.
So
I mean, either way, I mean, you can beef out a heifer.
our best beef have come from heifers and cows. I will say that.
We've had some good beef from cows as well.
Yeah.
So, yep. Like Maple. Maple,
Right.
her beef
Right.
came out really great, so.
Yep. So yeah, at the end of the day, just like chickens, like any kind of cow will work for beef or milk. Now I say that with the caveat on milk, provided mama can produce enough milk for the calf and you're able to take some. And that just depends on the genetics of that particular mama and how hungry that particular baby is. Like some beef will have more than enough and can raise multiple calves at a time.
Right.
And some cannot. Some dairy mamas, I don't know any dairy mama that wouldn't have enough milk to raise multiple babies. So you can always take milk from them. But yeah, we've milked our Belle, our little Hereford mutt Belle.
Right.
We've milked our Belle plenty of times.
Yeah.
So it just depends. Depends on the season. Is the grass in? Is she getting those green calories? Depends on genetics for sure. So.
Yep. So yeah, cows definitely fit the bill for the dual purpose animal for the small homestead.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I'll say this too. They could even be more than dual purpose. If you can use their manure, if you're not having to feed hay and your cow is just on clean, unsprayed pasture, you can then use the manure.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
But if you're feeding hay and
You're not sure.
right,
About the
you're
source.
not sure, right. I mean, it could be sprayed and it could potentially put long-term herbicides into your soil. So, you definitely want to be cautious with that.
I know some people use Dexter's also for draft, like for work, for pulling.
Yes.
So that would be more than dual purpose. That's
Right.
Yeah, that's another reason Dexter hits the top for sure.
Yeah, they're stocky little cows.
Yeah, they are. They make good little beef babies too.
That's right.
For that reason. All right. Well, I could talk cows forever, so you better make us move on.
Right.
Well, hey, y'all, we're going to briefly interrupt this podcast episode to give a big thanks to our 2025 top sponsors to the American Farmstead Convention, starting with Eco1. There's something really special about working with people who care, not just about the job, but about doing things the right way. That's why I want to tell you about Eco1 Inc. They're a family-run custom home builder right here in Northeast Florida, and they've been building homes and trust for over 20 years.
What sets them apart? Well, it's not just their craftsmanship, which is top-notch. It's their integrity. They're faith-driven, detail-oriented, and truly listen to what you want, whether you're building your forever home from the ground up or updating the one that you already love.
Eco1 works with you every step of the way, from dreaming and designing to the final walkthrough. Their team takes pride in building homes that last and relationships that do too.
So if you are thinking about building or remodeling, go check them out at eco1inc.com. That's ECOONEINC.com, and you will be glad that you did. Okay, so the next one on my list is probably not my favorite animal to keep. I think that you have to be a special kind of person to keep this, and they are goats.
Goats, for sure. Yeah, they catch a bad rap, don't they?
Well, I mean, you really have to be okay with a little bit of chaos from time to time, probably more than time to time. I mean, you probably have to be ready for chaos on the daily with goats.
Yeah.
And you definitely have to pull out all the stops to keep them contained, healthy, fed. I mean, their diets are very specialized. They require a lot of different minerals. Their shelters have to be very sound and intact.
They look for every possible way to die every day.
That's right. And what is the saying? If water can go through a fence, so can a goat.
So can a goat. Yep, it's not keeping a goat in.
But, I mean, they're they're more than a dual-purpose animal.
Right.
They are an excellent animal to keep if you want meat, milk, and manure that you can readily use in the garden.
Right. Yeah. So goat manure is a cold manure. You're able to use it right away. It doesn't have to be composted down.
Right.
But it can be. But that's silly. The first time I had success growing carrots and lettuce, both of those things, tiny little seeds, kind of have a harder time germinating.
Right.
I grew them by just tossing some seeds over the top of goat manure, fresh goat manure.
Nice.
And that was my first success and probably my best success.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's something to be said about that. You know, and those cold manures are really excellent things to help you like build your soil. You know, it's not just about like fertilizing. It's about adding that organic matter, that diverse organic matter into your soil to really help beef up the structure of it down the road.
Right. To feed the soil, to hold water. Yeah.
That's right.
Prevent erosion, all of it.
That's right. So goats are a good thing. Just it takes a special person, and I'm not that special person.
Yeah, I'm not either.
No.
And I think too, like in our culture, eating goat meat is just not as widely accepted. Right.
in America. It's just not.
Which is crazy because I feel like we're the only country, even of Western civilization.
Yes,
that,
I feel like a lot of Americans are totally missing the boat on that one.
I agree.
And I'm one of them.
Well, I mean, I'll eat it. I don't have any aversion to it. I just don't keep them.
Right. Yeah, no, I don't keep them. I mean, I had to replace the goats for sheep.
Right.
You know, they don't get into shenanigans quite as bad as a goat does.
I mean, we eat a lot of deer meat at our house throughout the year, and I like goat meat better than I like deer meat.
Do you really? More tender?
It's yes, and just a better flavor. You know, there's no game to it.
Okay.
Like deer meat, and even like honestly, our deer probably have been out there eating corn in the woods. So, but there's definitely a gamier flavor with venison than there is with goat meat, for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely more tender.
Yeah.
Well, and two, like when the deer that we're harvesting, we want to take the oldest ones out if possible, right?
Right.
So that's obviously going to be a tougher meat.
Right.
When you harvest goats for meat, you're usually going to have them before they're a year old.
Right.
Or
2 at the most.
Yeah. So,
but with that having been said, I mean, don't be afraid to butcher an older animal and eat it.
right.
You know, I think that there's a lot of like stigma with like, oh, that animal's over a year old. It's going to be gamey and tough. And I'm here to tell you, like, I mean, some of our sheep, like some of our rams that we've butchered have been older. I mean, upwards of 5-6 years old, and that meat was absolutely excellent.
Yeah.
We butchered it alongside of another ram that was a year and a half, and we could not tell a difference in the flavor between that old ram and that younger ram. And these rams were intact.
Right.
And that's another
It's supposed to be a no-no.
that's another stigma, and I'm sorry, but I don't necessarily agree with it, especially with sheep.
Right.
Because we have done we did a side-by-side comparison one time where we castrated one and we left one intact. We raised them the same exact way. The one that was intact grew out to be about 10 pounds heavier. The carcass weight was 10 pounds heavier than the one that was castrated.
Right.
And we could not tell a difference in the flavor of that meat.
That's awesome.
So
It's awesome to know.
Castrating, I mean, it's important if you're really trying to control the breeding and the genetics and things like that. But I think that a lot of people get hung up on, oh, that's not going to taste good because it's intact.
They think it's tainted.
It's not like a pig.
It's not like boar taint, right?
Right, like boar taint.
That's a thing.
That's a thing.
Yeah, and you know, we still say our very best beef that we've ever had, ever, like anywhere at fancy restaurants or at home, was a mean old Brahma cow that we had.
Right.
She just came up in my Facebook memories, actually. 3 years ago, she probably was 8 to 9 years old.
Yep.
She had been a mama. So, and that's another thing that like some ranchers will tell you is that no, if you're gonna send the girls, you got to send heifers. You can't send a cow because
it's not true.
It's going to be old meat. No, that was the best flavored meat we've ever had. It was tender. For that, the hang time was what gave us the tenderness.
Yes.
So,
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I mean, if it is an older animal, you might want to consider hanging it a little bit longer.
Yeah. And feeding too, you know.
But then too, also that longer hang time can give you a different flavor.
Right.
So I halfway wonder if people are confusing the hang time flavor with this animal's old or not cut flavor.
Right. Maybe.
I don't know.
Like they didn't get hang time.
Right. Or they did hang time And they're getting that hang time flavor, not the flavor because the cow's old or because the animal was intact.
And you think they don't like the hang time flavor?
Yeah. Some people don't like that hang time flavor.
That's bizarre to me. Like, that's where it's good.
Yeah.
That's what I like. That's yummy. So back to goats then real quick. So some top good dual purpose goats would be?
Yeah, Nubians, Nigerians. I mean, we have a friend that has Nigerians that very successful with her Nigerians.
I'd say that's the bulk of their family meat too.
Right. And then they also have Saanens, which are a much larger goat. Like Saanens are big.
They are big, but they're not
They're more
bulky.
of a milk.
Right.
Right.
They are like, she likes to say Saanens are like the Holsteins of the goat world.
Okay.
So
I can see that.
Right. They're bonier, they're leaner, they have a high production milk, but not a lot of butter fat.
Right.
So you'll get a bigger animal, but it won't be bulky, meaty animal. So
yeah, that's a perfect analogy there with the Holstein.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Alpines, Boer, and Kiko.
Oh yeah, Kikos are good. And then again, just like your cows, any cross of these are going to be a better, hardier dual purpose. And maybe they don't try to die so much.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Like, a lot of these hybrids or, breeds that you cross, for like selective traits and stuff, they do often turn out to be hardier animals. It's like doing the land race thing in the garden. It's the best of the best get planted next year.
Right.
And so that makes a hardier animal or a hardier plant a lot more resistant to disease and illness, more adapted to your climate. Right. So, you really can't go wrong. You'll get some hardy animals.
So moving on from goats and sheep are going to be rabbits. Yes. People don't normally think of them as dual purpose, but they totally are.
They totally are dual purpose. Okay, so not only are they going to produce an excellent amount of meat very quickly.
Right, fast.
I mean, very quickly.
Rabbits.
You did rabbits for a long time. They're also going to produce a bunch of cold manure that, again, you can just throw it right into your garden. I mean, we have a friend who, and honestly, she had one rabbit. Sarah had one rabbit and has an amazing garden in her backyard. She has just a very tiny little backyard. We've actually had her on the podcast before. It was a long time ago, though.
Yeah.
It was like a couple years ago. She has a very tiny yard, and that's what she uses. She just every day go around with the rabbit manure, put it in all the beds, and she grows an amazing amount of food in her little tiny backyard with her one little rabbit.
Right. So if you kept a handful of rabbits,
that's right.
You could have them for meat also. And, there's lots of meat breeds that grow bigger faster, so that you have them in 12 weeks or 16 weeks. I can't remember. It's been a while for us.
What breed did y'all do?
We had American chinchillas.
Okay.
And I'm drawing a blank. I wasn't prepared for that. There's another one, and we had some crosses of the two.
Okay.
The crosses were my favorite. I liked the chins for their coats, but they were not good mamas. That's another thing that you have to be willing to put up with. Young rabbit moms, sometimes we'd go out and there'd be a whole bunch of new kits that she's killed, like a dozen dead babies in there.
Yeah.
And so, but those mamas, we went by 3 strikes you're out rule. So give them another chance, 2 or 3 times I'd give them. And if they still were not good mamas, then they were the meat.
Sorry.
Yeah. But,
you get to serve your ultimate purpose.
Right. But when you do find good mamas, those are the genetics that we would keep. And those are the mamas that really were good mamas, and they'd have a lot of babies, they'd feed a lot of babies and have lots of manure. And every single year I do this. I need rabbits again for my garden. Our thing is we liked rabbit meat just fine, except that, there's a lot more bones in it than chicken. And, I can raise chickens faster.
Right. And you get more yield.
Right. Like between doing the stock and all the things with chicken, I just liked doing chickens better than rabbits. And this is going to sound completely hypocritical, but I had a harder time culling rabbits,
No, I can totally see that.
because you do it with your hands.
That's right.
And anytime you're going to take life with your hands, like anytime you're taking life, period, there's something emotional about it. But doing it with your hands is a deeper, more intimate connection that I just struggled with. Like I would do it, but it's like quail.
It's like quail. See, I struggle with butchering quail because I don't like how their little heads come off.
Right. right. I mean,
It's
again,
weird,
like,
because I can butcher chickens all day long.
exactly. I know it sounds crazy and like I'm a hypocrite, but I didn't like killing rabbits. Like they're cute and fuzzy and that. So I go back every year though to thinking I need to keep a handful for the garden.
Right.
But I also I'm just trying to be realistic and like how many things do I need to take care of?
Right.
So.
Well, I mean, you could get just like a couple of rabbits for the garden.
Well, remember last year I did that and then I let them go.
Right. And then you had rabbits in your garden.
Eating the garden.
It doesn't work out.
It was not a good, it was an impulse thing. Again, it's like anytime I do the impulse thing, it's not a good thing. Like you got to have proper plans. So yeah, that was the thing with that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, and rabbits might be a better choice for some people that say you're living in a neighborhood and you have, like our friend Sarah, just a small little backyard garden. You want to grow organically. You want to be able to raise some of your own meat, but you're not allowed to have chickens in your neighborhood.
Right. Rabbits fit the bill for that.
Yes.
And quail.
And quail. You could probably get away with quail.
Yeah. And something too that you probably wouldn't think of off the top of your head, but if you keep rabbits and use their manure in your garden, there's a big market to sell rabbit manure also. So bag that junk up and sell it by the 1 gallon bag, and people will pay all day for that, for sure.
Yeah, I could see doing that.
Yeah. So it
Absolutely.
could be a little side hustle on your homestead.
Yeah.
So New Zealand something is the other one that we kept.
Okay. And I know that with rabbits, you really have to pay attention to like what, your climate. I know that some rabbits don't do well in the heat. So
Yeah,
if
like
you're
we
in
wouldn't
the
breed them in
South,
summer.
right? Like if you're in the South and you want to do rabbits, just really pay attention to that. Like sometimes they really struggle in the heat.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So just a quick little break to the podcast. We want to highlight one of our top-level convention sponsors from the 2025 American Farmstead Convention. So if you are in St. Augustine area and love supporting local, you have got to check out the Feed Mill. This place is more than just a feed store. They've created a real community hub for farm folks, foodies, and families alike.
Yeah, need hay for your horses or feed for your animals? They've got it. But here's the surprise. They also carry farm fresh food for people. Think handcrafted pizzas made with local ingredients, a farm store stocked with seasonal goods, and even chef-curated farm-to-table dinners that are absolutely worth planning for.
They've also got a seasonal farmers market and a vibe that makes you want to linger a little bit longer. Whether you're running a farm or just love good food and community, the Feed Mill is the spot.
So stop by and see them at 6400 County Road 214 in St. Augustine, or check out everything they're up to on Facebook. That's the Feed Mill, where it's hay for horses, feed for animals, and food for people.
Okay, so moving on, and we've already touched on this a little bit, are sheep. They, again, are more than a dual-purpose animal. There are some breeds that are really great to milk. I personally don't milk my sheep. I don't really feel like we go through enough milk in our house for me to justify that. And I don't really want to spend the time on it either. So that's just not important to us at this stage of the game. But there are several breeds out there that are great milkers from what I understand. We just primarily keep them for the meat, which we like better than beef.
You like lamb better than beef?
Yes.
Cool.
It's so good. It's just a shame that they don't produce more.
Because they're small
of the carcass.
animals,
Right. It's a small animal. So, but there's something to be said about that too. Like, yes, we have butchered a cow here on our homestead before. Was it easy? No.
No.
It was not easy. But a lamb,
You could do that easy. Yeah.
That's very easy. It's very manageable to do yourself right on your homestead, right in your backyard with very minimal supplies.
Right.
So I think that that's worth noting as well.
I agree.
And their manure, again,
right.
very usable.
Cold manure.
A ton of it. You just have to be clever on how you're going to like collect it. You know what I mean? Like my sheep are all over the place. So for me to like run around and collect their manure, yeah, I could do it. But
so if I have collected sheep manure, I will do it in the morning after they've first gotten up. So, or at least
wherever
I go
they sleep.
out, right, and I know where they slept that night.
Yeah, you know where my sheep slept last night?
On your porch?
No, on the slab in front of my husband's barn.
Oh.
The whole slab is literally covered in manure.
Well, that's easy collection.
I know that's easy collection. That's what he said to me right before he left to go to work today. Your sheep were on the slab all night.
Your sheep.
Right. Now they're my sheep.
So when we want lamb chops for dinner, they're
sheep.
our sheep.
Right.
But when they crap everywhere, they're your sheep.
My sheep.
Yeah.
They're my sheep.
Yeah. Cows are like that too. Yeah.
So yeah, I need to get out there with the push broom at some point this afternoon, and he'll be much happier when he comes home.
Yeah. Sheep are good.
Yep. And then wool. I mean, you know, not all sheep are wool sheep. We keep hair sheep.
Right.
However, I have probably maybe 3 or 4 that you could definitely shave and use the wool. I mean, you probably couldn't sell it for a bunch of money because it's not super thick and it's not that white wool that like the fiber artist people want.
Right.
But, and you know, again, it just depends on where you live. I mean, here in Florida, like it would be kind of ridiculous for us to keep wool sheep.
Right.
You know,
People do it,
people do it,
but you have to shear them.
right?
So
I wouldn't do it. I mean, we try to breed that out of our sheep.
right. But again, but you're the hands-off farm.
Right.
Right. So if somebody is looking for a side hustle from their
Absolutely.
homestead, like rabbit manure, you could do sheep wool.
Absolutely.
And it's a renewable, easy resource.
Sheep are also excellent if you ever want to try to get into hide tanning.
Right.
Yes, because their hides are small, they're very workable. I've done several now, and that's a lot easier than a cow hide. And actually, I liked it way better than the deer hide. It was just a workable material. So, and a good size, you know, it's not super heavy. So there's that too. They make really good rugs.
They're pretty. The rugs are pretty.
Yeah.
I like them.
I do. I love them. So yeah, sheep are a great choice. You can keep a bunch of them in a very small space. They are a little trying on the fences, which is our problem right now, but you know.
I didn't
not as
have
bad
that
as a goat.
trouble so much, only where we didn't have wire fence behind the board fence. That was the
Yes.
only place I ever had a hard time with sheep getting out.
Yeah. So some things that people want to try to keep in mind, like if you're really wanting to, you know, keep these dual purpose animals and for them to be like the absolute best that they can be, I think that there's definitely, you know, some management that you want to keep in mind.
Right.
Which we already talked about that a little bit with like the selective breeding, feeding them right, you know, making sure that they have their minerals and their correct feed. And then that way everybody is in like optimal health, keeping up with parasites and fly control and all that jazz. I mean, if you know, the healthier those dual purpose animals are, the better and the more useful they're going to be ultimately.
Right. And two, like if you decide that this is what you want to do and you work up to a dozen, 2 dozen sheep or whatever the animal, you know, I'm just using sheep as an example, like always consider that not just for meat and milk and hides, but you also have babies. Right. Like you have babies that you can sell, not just raise up, but that can be a part of your farm income to help it run itself, is that you have that, again, a sustainable, renewable resource.
Absolutely. So actually, now that I really think about it, every single animal that was on my list is actually not dual purpose.
It's multi-purpose.
They're all multi-purpose.
Yeah.
Even the rabbits. I mean,
Yeah.
people like rabbit hides.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, I mean, they're all way more than dual purpose. So, which makes it great. I mean, for a small homestead, dual purpose, I think, is the way to go.
I agree.
Or even for a big homestead, whatever.
Right. I agree. I think people ask us often, like, the difference in homestead or small farm, right?
Right.
I think we think of small farms or big farms, whatever. We think of farming as the place where animals are grown commercially, right? And so then they're going to niche down to one type.
Right.
A dairy, a beef ranch,
Right.
a rabbitry, that kind of thing. But a homestead, we like to dabble, right?
Yeah.
Like, we like to try all the things. We have that self-sufficiency mindset. And in order to do that, we always say, nobody can be self-sufficient, but that is always the end goal. Like, even though it's unattainable.
That's right.
We're always learning. We're always reaching for it. And to do that, you have to dabble in the different things and to see what you like, to see what works best for your family, for your
Right.
budget, for your land. And so, that small homestead, they need to find multi-purpose animals for
Yeah.
that reason.
Yeah. I think it makes for a heartier homestead overall.
I agree. We always say diversify. Mm-hmm. Always diversify in whatever. If you're looking to make money from your homestead, if you're learning to grow your homestead more for your family, if it's just your garden, like, diversify. Always is always the best answer.
Yep. Diversify and be involved in your community. Have that little local homesteading community. If you can't find it local, at least be part of something online.
Mm-hmm.
Because I heard a little analogy this morning, actually, as I was listening to a podcast about a tree being in the forest. Well, if you really took a look at the subsoil level of that forest, you would see that all of those tree roots, and plant roots, they're all intermingling with each other, which makes them stronger as a whole.
Right.
As opposed to one beautiful fruit tree out in the middle of a field. That
Right.
fruit tree it might be big and beautiful, but it's not going to be as strong in the long run because it's not linked up to anything else.
Right.
So
Right.
linking up in community and, in your food forest, and things are just going to be better together.
Right. Because there is no self-sustainability.
Right.
There's community sufficient,
That's
not
right.
self-sufficient. We say that. Yeah.
Right. I mean, you could try to go live off the grid in the woods. And I mean, it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. All right. So I think that's it. Dual purpose.
That's right.
Yeah. Figure out how to use those animals in more ways than one and use the best of your space.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, next week, I think we have a special guest.
Yeah, I think we're going to have somebody on next week.
Yep.
So that should be fun. That's always good to mix it up. So we will be back next week, and we look forward to chatting with y'all.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.